Everyone. Welcome to Exodus Life Change Podcast. This is your guy Ray coming to you live all the way from here. We're here, right? Cheer! Welcome. How are you guys doing today? I'm just so excited. I need my men. I need my men to come on, let's get it in, men. Let's get it in. We need to get it in. Let me fix my cameras a little bit. Got a lot going on over here. Okay, listen. I need you right now to hit that subscribe button, that like button on my YouTube channel, Exodus Life Change, right? I'm on Facebook again, probably for the last time that I'm going to do it live. But I think it's important because I need to get my guys to transition over to my YouTube page. It's real important, man. Listen, in these times, right, like some of the stuff that we're going through, right, we really need to be at that place, right? We need to be around men of like mind, men like who's like real honest and raw and, been through some stuff, like made it through, not just been through some stuff, made it through some stuff through the other side. Of course, for me, man, being born again, saved by Jesus Christ on that second floor fire escape, that is my root. That's what brought me out of darkness. That's what brought me out of the streets. That's what worked for me. Some of y'all, I had to go to Narcotics Anonymous along with going to getting in the kingdom of God, in the body of Christ. Some people God just supernaturally, they just stopped. Whatever the path that you took was the path that you took. Now that we're on this other side, right, we have an obligation, right? We have an obligation to go back and strengthen our brothers, to go back and strengthen those who are still there, or they just came over to this side and they kind of like struggling. They're on the fence. They don't know if they want to keep moving forward because it's kind of hard, and this is one of the purposes of the Exodus Life Change podcast. So I want to do this because I want to make sure we got a clear understanding why we're here. What is the Exodus House Life podcast? First, I just want to welcome everybody to the the Exodus Life Change podcast. Let me get some water. And this is what I'm going to read every show before we start. Welcome to the Exodus Life Change podcast. We support men who have overcome prison, homelessness, and addiction, and are now on a journey of personal growth through the wisdom of Jesus Christ. Our podcast focuses on the power of transformation with Christ as our cornerstone. Each episode dives into breaking free from the past chains and rebuilding lives of the foundation with the foundation of faith, Christ, and kingdom principles. We share inspiring testimonies, teaching, and guidance to help men live a transformed life in God's kingdom. Our mission is to overpower men to embrace their God-given purpose and walk in freedom. That is why we're here. That is why we're here. I don't know why my Facebook page, hold on, let me get it back on, is jumping out, right? But let me put it back on a second. I do apologize. I guess it's my internet go live. Okay. For those of you, I'm back again. Okay, so that's what our Exodus Life Change podcast is for. It's for, some of us been in prison. Some of us been in prison and have a drug problem. Some of us been in prison and been homeless. But we're on the other side now. So I want to talk about this morning, right? Because for me, man, it's like this constant battle in my mind. I always talk about removing the lies and replacing them with truth. And we got to have the solution. How do we remove these lies, right? How do we come up with truth, right? And we're a solution-based podcast. We're going to identify the problem, and then we're going to come with the solution. And these solutions are just things that work for me. I'm not saying this is how you have to do things. What I'm saying is this is what worked for me. And maybe if you're struggling in that area, or if you're trying to figure this thing out, maybe what worked for me just might work for you. I'm not worrying about Facebook. I guess I don't supposed to be on there. You know, what worked for me might just work for you. And no way I'm telling you this is what you got to do. This is how you got to get free. No, I'll be sharing with you, and what my other guests will be sharing with you are their experience, strength, and hope, and the path that they walked down, and how they got free. Whatever that path is for you, right? That's that path for you. I'm just sharing you with my path. What is working, what has worked for me, and what's continuing to work for me. And some of the areas that, like, even after 28 years clean, man, like it's almost as if the enemy is attacking harder now than when I first got clean, or when I first came to the body of Christ. Because he wants me to be that example of showing, okay, God can't keep him after 28 years. You see how he fell? Why? Look, don't even try to be like him. Don't follow that Christ, or don't follow that pattern. Don't follow Narcotics Anonymous. None of that stuff works. So look at what happened to Brother Ray. You know? Sorry, guys. All right. Look what happened to Brother Ray. And that's what some of us is going through, who have been, excuse me, clean for a while, delivered for a while, saved for a while. However you want to categorize who you are, delivered, saved, whatever. Okay. But our goal here is to bring us all together for a common cause, for these young men who don't have a clue who they are, for these middle-aged men who don't have a clue who they are, for these older men who do not have a clue who they are. I can talk to the 66-year-old guy. You could talk to the 50-year-old guy, the 40-year-old guy, the 30-year-old guy, the 20-year-old guy, the teenager, right? We can all talk to whatever demographics that we're in. The good thing about being 66, I understand how it feels to be a teenager, 20, 30, 40, and 50. So I can walk you through those steps, what I was doing when I was 16, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. And I think a lot of times as older guys, we start from where we are now. And when you younger guys listen to it, it's as if we're talking above you. So I like to talk from where I started from and how I got to where I'm at here. If you can, I can identify with most of the places that you're at in your life based on where I was when I was 20, what I was doing when I was 20, what I was doing when I was 30, what I was doing when I was 40, and so forth. You have to see the progression, why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking now, why I do the things I do now, why I believe in the things I believe in now. And it all starts with our mind, right? It all starts with our mind. And what's so powerful about it, watch this. Our lives are always moving in the direction of our strongest thoughts. What we think shapes who we are. I'm going to say that again. Our lives are always moving in the direction of our strongest thoughts. What we think shapes who we are. How we're thinking right now. What we're thinking about right now. I am so sorry, guys. These sinuses is on me. Our lives move in that direction. When I was out there in that world, man, what I was thinking moved in the direction of my life. My strongest thoughts were getting high. My strongest thoughts was getting money. My strongest thoughts was finding women. These were my strongest thoughts. Those were the things who were shaping who I was. A low down, no good son of a polecat. You know what I mean? So we have to start replacing, not just replacing the lies and removing the lies and replacing with truth. we have to have what we call a replacement principle. Look, replacement principles allows us to remove the lies and replace the truth. My principles on the street had to be replaced with my principle of kingdom principles, which allows me to remove the lies and replace the truth. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7 says this: God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. The reality was I had a fear of succeeding. I had a fear of living as normal human beings on a day-to-day process. I had a fear of failing. I had a fear of not living up to standards, so it caused me to go deeper and deeper and deeper in drugs. I became weaker and weaker to the lies that Satan was giving me. But I understand now that that fear wasn't coming from God, but there was a power inside of me. There was a love inside of me that replaced the lies with truth. Because it says God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So, I started replacing my principles with kingdom principles. And in those principles, it started removing the lies that I would never be nobody, that I would always be on drugs, that I would not be a good husband, that I would never be a good employee, that I would always be broke, that I would always be homeless, that I would always be strung out on drugs. I had to replace that lie with truth. And the first truth was, because of the fear that I had in my life of succeeding, God has given us not the spirit of fear. I had to first remove the lie that this fear is not coming from God. That there was a power inside of me. That there was this love inside of me that could cause me to have a sound mind based on the truth that I was now hearing. The truth that I was now understanding. So the title of today's topic is Perception is Reality. What's up, Brother Goose? Perception is reality. See, my perception when I was in the world was my reality. My perception was that I had to continue to get high. I had to sell drugs. I had to do this with women. I had. This was my perception. And my perception was I just could not get better. I just could not get clean. I just not could be a good father. I just could not live a normal life. So my reality was I need to just keep doing what I'm doing. I need to keep staying in darkness. What's up, Brother Mel? So my perception, see, our perception becomes our reality. Whatever I perceive a thing to be, watch this. If that thing I'm perceiving is a lie, that's my reality. So here's the thing about a lie. It's hard to identify a lie because it's a lie. So if my perception about I could never get clean again, if my perception that I would never be a good dad again, if my perception, whatever my perception was my reality, even though it was a lie, because I didn't understand it was a lie. Because I was believing what Satan was saying to me about myself. Listen, I did not understand some of y'all. I'm going to go both ways, spiritual and natural. I did not understand I had a disease of addiction that caused me to do the things that I didn't want to do. That caused me, when I wanted to do right, I couldn't do right. That caused me, when I formulated a plan on how I would never use again, I could not apply that plan in my life because my perception, right, was a lie. And because my perception was a lie, I didn't understand that I wasn't walking in truth. I didn't understand that I was not walking in the purpose and plan that God had for my life. I believed everything I was doing was based on what I was supposed to have been doing, based on my perception. Based on how I looked at things. Why? Because when I was growing up in the projects, they said, look, man, look, man ain't supposed to cry. Don't even start it. My uncle told me some crazy stuff. A man ain't even supposed to have an umbrella. Put your hat on, put your hoodie on, whatever it was. If you looked at me too long, what you looking at? If you stepped on my shoes, we got to fight. All these things that were lies, which was saying that that's how a man is supposed to be. My perception of manhood was based on my environment and the traditions and all the things that I grew up around that had nothing to do with the purpose and plan for my life. Hear what I'm saying? So when we talk, so I had to start changing my perception, because watch this. Watch this. I'm gonna share this with you. I wonder if you felt locked up or taken captive. If so, have you ever considered that you might be trapped in a self-made prison? I was trapped in a prison in my mind. Now, I didn't say I was in solitary confinement, but I was in a prison. I was in a prison door, trapped. Listen, nobody put me there. I wasn't convicted of a crime. This is a self-made prison that while I was out there using, it was like a barrier after 4 blocks. I couldn't go past these 4 blocks, left, right, back, forward. So I was trapped in this area, right? A self-made prison right then and there where I was at. And watch this. I would fall back from living the life that I knew that I wanted to live. I kept falling back into this old stuff, right? I kept falling back into my perception of what a man is supposed to be, not experience a true relationship with God. See, because listen, if you can identify with this, because I had no hope for my future. See, when you think you're trapped, right? You believe there's a lock on the door. You believe that you can't get past a certain thing. I have brought into a lie about myself, and I just accepted it. And guess what? The only thing that was holding me back, and the only thing that was holding you back, is the lie. And until I could identify the lie, I couldn't remove it. And because I couldn't remove it, I couldn't replace it with truth. So until my liberation came when I came to these points. 1, to remove the lie, and 2, to replace it with truth. But the reality is that this process is hard. This process was very hard for me. It felt like a war was being fought for my life, and that war was being fought in my mind. And brothers, that is exactly what's happening today. See, I'll say this and I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. My getting clean had nothing to do with stopping getting high. I'm gonna say that again. My getting clean, my wanting God to deliver me, had nothing to do with me getting high. I didn't mind getting high. I didn't mind all this stuff that went with it. What I didn't mind was the voices and the things and the battle that was going on in my mind. Because you got to understand, your mind is your battlefield. And the battle for your life is won or lost in your mind. So I'm going to get out of here. I need you guys to continue to follow me. We're going to keep expounding on